very good evening to yet another episode of Ground Zero Everyday Leaders. This is episode number 5 of season 3, and we are having a conversation with an entrepreneur, a visionary, a thorough gentleman whom I've known for many years, Mr. Rajesh Nair, who has been a person who people have looked forward to meet to. And this conversation that I'm having online is something I've been looking forward to for quite some time. So with that very brief introduction, Rajesh, I welcome you to the show. It gives me immense pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Alan. Wonderful to be with you. Maybe the introduction is too heavy for me, but I'll take it.
In fact, you know what? I mean, I thought this was the shortest introduction that I've ever made. But you're right. I mean, there's a heavy matter coming up for sure during the show, and that is why probably I kept it as brief as possible. So, Rajesh, without much ado, let's get into it and let's dive into our conversation. And the first thing that comes to mind, I know that everyone who ventures into the Gulf has a purpose or a reason to do so. And especially in the past, the ones who have not been born and brought up, they always have a reason, some forced circumstances, some others. But there is a story attached to every person who ventures out from India to the Gulf to work. And you may be having one as well to share to the audience.
Okay, to answer that question, I need to tell you a little bit about my background. Basically, I'm from a village in mid-Kerala, from South India. I passed out my engineering degree in 1988. So I tried to work in India. I worked in India till 94, end of 94. I've been working in various parts of India in the construction industry. It's a very tough line, as you know. As you can imagine, construction industry is one of the toughest line any young engineers can do. Sure. So people from our state, we have a natural inclination to go out of Kerala or out of India, probably very likely to the Gulf those days. I'm saying about 30 years back. So I left India in 1995. I went to Doha. I worked there 3 years. I came to Abu Dhabi, exactly 25 years. Now, this interview matches with my 25th anniversary in Abu Dhabi. So I worked here now 25 years at various capacities, as you know, Alan. So why it happened is initially the opportunities were very less than in our place. And I always thought that I can do much better in a multinational environment. If you are working your hearts out, there was a lot of possibilities. I always thought that. It's a natural call to come to this direction. Then I could work with some wonderful human beings. I got a lot of interactions with professionals, multinational people. As you can imagine, some of them are our common friends, like Bob and all, So we had a lot of tough times here as well. But you did our best to reach where I am today,
Yeah.
So the simple answer is that it's a natural thing to me to come to this side. That was a simple answer to your question.
Yeah, very true. But not everyone makes it. And when I say makes it, I have a very big meaning to the word. But of course, everyone has his or her own contributions to the society in their own ways. But life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. I mean, it's either one of them. And you chose to be taking the former side, which is being a daring person, to venture out and take up big responsibilities. So I'm sure there have been a lot of challenges along your way.
Yeah, definitely. Challenges were a part and parcel of the game. I must recall one incident happened in 1995 when I reached the Gulf. I was surprised to see that my colleagues from some white Arab countries, they were not even giving me adequate documentation to perform. They were hiding codes and standards. I've seen environment of that nature. I'll just twist the camera to my library here. This library is resulted from denial of information by somebody. Now, sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. You'll find a lot of documentation there. One day when you visit, you can read this. I have all the international codes and standards. Plus, whatever they tried to deny to me, I already went and grabbed it from outside sources. If they are not doing it, I will never do that. I will also take it easy. So, stepping stone of my career is the people who try to deny information to me. So, I have gurus from that side, as well as I work with some wonderful human beings, again from the Middle Eastern, white Arab states. There are a lot of amazing human beings work with me. But initially, when I started, there are people who tried not to cooperate. They wanted to keep me at a lower level. So, with my personality, I was not accepting that. I was working hard, of course, in construction industry. I remember daytime I had to work as a site engineer, and evening I had to work as an estimator those days till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the night. So we had a very tough time those days. If any youngsters are listening to me, probably in the IT sector, sometimes even in Silicon Valley, you have to do these days. If you are competing with Korea and China and even India, sitting in California, sometimes you have to work hard. You cannot just work 8 hours per day and go home. There's a part of everyone's life while you are in the making process. So challenges, like Dr. Abdul Kalam said, we have to be difficult than the difficulty. So I am basically a very simple human being. Outside my work, I'm a very, very down to the person. But inside the work, we have to act as a difficult person. Otherwise, we cannot overcome the difficulties. So, like our ex-president said, we have to be difficult than the difficulties. I'm trying to be. That's my story.
And what adds to that is when you talk about your personality, I think the most powerful leadership tool that you personally possess is your own personal example. And I think that portrays a lot of confidence in people who deal with you, who talk to you, who work under you. We'll come to that a little later. But what is that one thing, Rajesh, that you believe during your early days you carried in terms of your principles, in terms of life values, that it still stands out even till date? I mean, it still holds you up, if I may, kind of projects the person that you are.
Honesty and integrity is very important in our life, because we are not saying about a short-term relation. Alan, in the last 20 years, the relation is growing like this even now because of the way you know me. Honesty and integrity is very important, number one. Number two, you need to protect the rights of everybody associated. Whether you are a construction laborer, your office boy, or your customer, your boss, everyone has their own rights, In the ecosystem, in the circle, we are in some part of the circle. You have somebody in front of you and somebody behind you. You need to protect the rights of everybody. Otherwise, people will immediately let you down, and you will not be able to proceed. If you are having selfish motives for yourself or even for your company, you will have only short life in the industry. Honesty and integrity and considering human beings as human beings is very, very important. Irrespective of religion, caste, color, nationality. We have here at least 50 nationalities are working with me now. I think that if there is any religion, work is our religion, nothing more. Everyone has to be like that. I prefer to move in the broader way. So once you say the truth, everyone can follow the truth. There is no question about that. So that's my principle, life principle. I will, for example, never come to you giving you a wrong quotation from another party when you work together. I'll definitely negotiate, but I'll negotiate based on ethical terms only. So these ethical values are very important in one's life, and I am a strong advocate of that.
True. I mean, you mentioned that, and you probably gave the audience a hint that we know each other for almost 20 years now. I remember the days, and that's probably your early days in the UAE when you applied the product that I represented alongside the then boss, the great Bob Brown. And well, that serves as a lot of memory to me as well. And I've seen you, grow from that point of time. I mean, you've been a project engineer, I'm sure, at one point of time, freshly graduated from college, to a project manager, to a CEO, and today a managing partner of an organization, a reputed one in the Emirates. What motivated you, Rajesh, to look at entrepreneurship as your goal?
Actually, I'm not from a business family. I must again tell you that my father worked for Indian Army, and my mother was a junior school teacher. We are coming from working class family. I don't think any of the cousins or uncles, nobody is from business. So in this part of the world, once I came in, I was lucky to associate with the general managers, with the CEOs, with the MDs of the companies I worked with. And in my last company, which was one of the largest EPC organizations, I was the deputy CEO of that organization. I left that in 2015. I was taking all the decisions. I was even talking to the banks. I was leading the estimation. I was leading the execution. So in a way, I was doing everything like a business owner should do. and I was a part of the business as a working executive. Then I thought, if you can do everything, we can start something small yourself. So the entrepreneurship came to my mind like that. But it comes with the associated risks, Alan. As you can imagine, the pandemic years were very tough for companies here. Um, Probably we've survived because of my 25 years of experience in this country and the way we are trusted by our customers and the people within the team. They supported wholeheartedly. So we came up during the pandemic. We definitely grown 200% during these tough years. So that was the merit of the team and the grit of the company. So entrepreneurship came as I cannot say that it's naturally came to me, but that was the call of the hour. I had to take up that. When I left my previous company, I was even not considering going back to EPC organization. Then the colleagues, my ex-colleagues, came to my home and they said that, sir, you have to start something. We are with you. We don't want to go anywhere else. We want to work together something. So we started this company like a cooperative society. Some of my leading players are still with me as minority partners also. So they are working with me with a spirited approach. And we are creating a team of people. If you come to my office, if you ask my office boy, he will say it is my company. That's the spirit we are creating here. Everyone, including the sites, everyone thinks that is their own company. That's something amazing. That feeling is really amazing. So my way of entrepreneurship may be not to make money. Of course, we'll make money as a part of the game, but more than that, to create a happy environment. That's what we are doing really.
That reminds me of that very famous leadership line. It's not about position or title. It's about action and example. And I think if you read that kind of atmosphere around you, I think leaders are automatically born. You did mention about COVID. You talked about how you, like many of us, of course, and there have been people who have struggled during that time as well, especially the businesses. But we'll talk about the highest achievement in your business life. I mean, we talked about struggles and challenges, and I can see those were some of those challenges during that phase. But what has been the highest achievement for you in your business life, Rajesh?
If you remember, my last company, one of the largest EPC organizations, which I started in 2003, 2004, and I was the staff number 0001. We reached by 2015, when I leave, we were the largest EPC company in the country, local EPC company in the country. Then, we had taken projects up to 1 billion UAE dirhams value. So that could be one of the market may say that that's my biggest achievement. But personally, I'll say that the revival during tough market conditions, which is happening now, when I started this company, Advanced Petrol Services, in 2017, 2018, we were just going into pre-qualification phase. We started with small projects and we were hit with the pandemic time. Many of the banks were not supporting contractors. Many clients stopped the projects. We had to keep people here. We had to pay them salaries. Very, very difficult days. But we gave them assurance to our people that you are taken care, we'll take care of you. Like that. And our customers realized that and they supported us with some good projects during that time also. We performed reasonably well during that time. The first year, I managed the whole company without a single case of corona infection, first year. Second year, I had some 20, 25 kind of thing in the camps. But during this time, we have been anchoring deep, using our experience here to get into diversified business. We are into maintenance. We are into sectors like defense, aluminum, steel, oil and gas, in upstream, midstream, downstream. Companies like Group, Abu Dhabi ports. I'm extremely diversified here. By doing that, now I have a company. I have 30 live projects, 31 live projects as of today. I'm getting a project today. And I have close to 120 million US dollars of jobs in hand now, Alan. For a young company, we started like 10 people. We were only 45 people in the first year. Now we are 700 people in 4 years' time. And we have 100 plus million US dollar projects in hand. I think that achieving that during tough times, our quality should be measured how you are facing tough times. I think this is a better achievement than my previous ones, which you know. When you visit us, you will definitely know about it. You'll see a lot of smiling faces around, which again is a measure of our quality, our achievements. I think we have to go this way. If the current vision we are following, that 5 to 10 years, you will hear a very big name, Advanced Petrol Services. Everything we are well set to. We are on the propulsion pad now. I can tell you that.
It's remarkable to be just listening to that journey of success or the achievement that you guys have achieved. Yes. And I'm sure you credit a lot to the of that efforts to your team surrounding you. And in fact, I don't even know whether the next question has any meaning. The question that I had in mind is about leadership, simply a part and parcel of your nature, and and what you have done for a small company to having evolved to an organization of 700 employees today is remarkable, and that is leadership for me. That simply exemplifies leadership. Just for the sake of people who are, especially our young audience who are listening to this show, specifically because it's a show on leadership, as leaders who make the society and people around them. How do you think you evolved as one, Rajesh?
As I told you earlier, I was very lucky to work with some extremely professional leaders in my career. So, as pedestrians, we used to watch what's happening. We used to adapt some good things from some of our, bosses, or colleagues, or something like that. Then, as an ardent project management professional, I remember the theoretical classes taken on Project Management Institute. There is a module for leadership, and in PMI's opinion, leaders can be of 4 types. I think we can have leaders coming out of power, authority. Probably you can influence people by giving them salary increment. You can give them something, giving power, sometimes punishing power. You can suspend them, you can dismiss them, you can shout at them. And PMI beautifully says that your likability, your referential power, the likability side means you have Rahul Dravid when he was playing. He was showing with his bat, or Virat Kohli was doing that. So the likability within you, the reference, people are like, me, just from the industry, me. Like that, the people looks towards you, and we have to give it back to them what they want. We are like sun, we are radiating energy. We have to give it equally to everybody, Mm-hmm. So when we are considering the human side of people, when you see that we are there to share the strength and weakness of your colleagues, I think that's enough. They'll be confident in you, and that confidence alone will make you as a leader. There is no leader without followers. The followers will automatically come to you when, like I said earlier in the show about the honesty, integrity factors, and how much you'll be able to give it back to the society. People are watching all those things, Yeah. So again, as far as I'm concerned, leadership is all about that. In short words, how we are, instead of making money, you have to create more happiness by creating happiness. And when you're hiring people, it's very important to hire the right people. Creation of a company, you need to take sometimes ruthless decisions by having the right person at the right point. Famously, Steve Jobs said one day, in Apple, they're getting the right people, costly right people, and hiring them. And I never tell them what to do. I want them to tell me how things can be done better. If I have to tell them what to do, no, I'm not hiring the right person. That's just, in construction industry, it's not always possible, but I'm trying to gain knowledge from my colleagues. I have no problem going to a quality control engineer and ask a doubt. As a CEO, I will never say that I should know about it. No, I don't know many things. I may have breadth of information, but not depth of information. So leadership is being among them. In short form, you need to be one among them. Of course, we have the responsibilities of the legal responsibilities of the firm. But again, being among them, we can lead them better.
Absolutely. I'll kind of stick to the essence of the whole subject that we're talking about. Since you come from an engineering background, we'll talk about the engineering students who who find life very competitive right from the time they enroll themselves into an engineering college. Life gets, stressful. It's very competitive. They understand the challenges. They know that there are not n number of jobs out there for them to grab. It's only so many that they can actually go after. The advice that you would want to give the engineers who graduate among thousands of those who outsprout every year, Rajesh, what would be that advice you would want to give them?
Okay, basically, engineering is applied science or applied mathematics. But to me, it's all about management. It's all about economics. It's all about financial management also. Because these days, sometimes the world is going through a recession. People are saying about another recession and all. Economists, if you are an economist, or at least you should have basic knowledge about financial management. Terms like cost to finance, there are terms of that nature. We need to have basic knowledge of those subjects as much as we know about engineering. That's the first point I want to say. Secondly, many people have already said that if possible, they have to follow their dreams. If they joined engineering college for becoming an engineer, not due to pressure from parents or something, if you really want to become an engineer, they need to fine-tune their direction by the time they reach the 8th semester, where they want to. Are they going to aerospace industry or IT industry or manufacturing industry or projects, quality control, health, safety, environment? You have a lot of directions now. The world is open, Environment, just take the case of climate control, environment, non-conventional energy, automobile engineering. We are saying about electric cars. We are saying about hydrogen energy now. It's enormous fields are there. There is definitely you made a statement of number of opportunities, but there are opportunities available if you are working hard towards that. So if you can follow your dream, that'll be the greatest thing they can do to yourself. That very simply, everyone may not get what their dream. Somebody wants to do a photographer, but they are by mistake he's in a mechanical engineering. But then he need to have his basic job. He can chase photography too. So as young engineers, you need to be motivating yourself to find your way ahead. There are career guidance units, but they need to be fully in touch with the industry. Through LinkedIn and through other social media platforms, just to know what's happening. So they'll be able to decide what they are good at. And even youngsters are coming as entrepreneurs now. So when youngsters wants to come as entrepreneurs, the first thing I mentioned, the cost to finance. You cannot start business based on your money. Somebody has to finance. If it's a sizable enterprise, you need finance. Even if your own money, that comes with a cost. Your father's money, your parents' money comes with a cost. Cost to finance is very important. So economics. Recently I was speaking to some of the education thinkers in India in a conference. I was asking them why our universities are still not bridging the gap between the industry and academics. This gentleman came from Government of India in Abu Dhabi Indian Social Center. There was a presentation to us. This is all about human resources. The presentation. What Government of India is doing to enhance the human resources training. I told them there are a lot of subjects being taught still in the universities, which has nothing to do with the industry. Industry demands much more. I said about economics. Economics is taught in a very weak form in the engineering course even now. All the engineers coming out of university should know how to read a financial statement of a company. They should know the terms like cost to finance and all. So in my view, especially for the youngsters listening to you, Alan, if they want to come even to small industries as entrepreneurs, they need to have very good knowledge about economics and finance management. Terms like venture capital, terms like private placement, acquisitions, mergers, these kind of terms should be familiar to them. Basic knowledge should be there. Then they'll be a much better place to start such a career. So I have given you many answers. Following the dream is the best answer. If you're not able to do it today, you can do it tomorrow, like I did it.
Sure. Well, during the process of my interactions with students, I found the lack of financial literacy as well. And that is something that many organizations or companies nowadays, even the banks, have a separate wing for financial literacy. And I think that's something we need to encourage, as you said, rightly, regardless of the profession or the stream of academics that you pursue. Financial literacy is very, very important. And that's a beautiful advice coming from you, Rajesh. A very simple question comes to mind straight away for a person who's been very successful, who led a company of great stature in the Emirates. You could have migrated somewhere in the West. You could have, probably done much more to yourself and your family in terms of your living, but you chose to stay where you are.
Yeah, very true. That's a very, very true statement. All many of my friends are in Americas, Canada, Australia, and other places, and in Europe. I have been traveling to all these places. I have seen the good side of these Western countries. Uh, One of the issues is that I was very, very much attached to my home village. I wanted to go back to that place. But having worked here and having kids who are born and brought up here, I may not be able to do that. One thing I liked about Gulf is that they never give you citizenship. So one day you have to go back. You are not naturalized there. Whereas in Europe or US, by now I would have been 24 years in a country. You are already a local citizen there.
True.
I did Manchester Business School MBA. I did Stanford Advanced Project Management. I did all the courses, some courses from this part of the world. I have friends, even foreign friends in this area. I have seen their life, the quality of life and all. But I thought that I can contribute better to the society if I'm here in this position. And then I studied in a government engineering college. As I told you, I passed out in 1988. My annual fees was 340 rupees. One of the best engineering colleges, CET, College of Engineering, Trivandrum. We have very huge hydraulic machines lab, mechanical engineering lab, heat engines lab. We have a lot of facilities, which is given by the government. They spend at least few lakhs of rupees to me, and they charge me only 340 dirhams per semester, I think. So like 2,000 dirhams for the whole engineering course. So I had to give it back to the society. Sitting here, I'm appointing, in the last company, I brought at least 3,000 people. Here I'm having 700 Indians I'm bringing in. Many of them well-deserved candidates. I'm giving them job. So their investment goes back to my home country. I think giving it back to the society, I'll be able to do that once I'm in the Middle East. Once I'm going there, naturalized in, for example, in Houston and Texas, I have a lot of friends. Many of my family friends are there. They're always inviting me. But if I'm going there, I may be comfortably sitting there. I may have life for myself. But I prefer to be here. I don't know. Maybe my kids will take me somewhere else. We'll see that time. But as of now, I prefer to end my career here. Yeah.
Well, it's wonderfully summarized, and there's so much of blessings coming to people around you, and that itself is a blessing to yourself. So I will talk about family now, since you brought it up, Rajesh, or rather, probably I brought it up. How do you balance? I know, and before we go there, I know you're a big Roger Federer fan. You're a big tennis fan because I follow you on social media as well. Especially your posts on Roger Federer. So you do spend a lot of time in hobbies, and I know recently you did the marathon as well for a social cause. Let's talk about family balance, and work. How do you manage that?
Yeah, that's a very, very important question. Probably that's the best question, because that's a very important question in every professional's life. I had in 2002, one day I left to my office 8 o'clock in the morning. I returned after 36 hours. My colleague Anirudh, we were working continuously on a tender, and we had to work for 36 hours continuously. That was the record at that time. My wife, her name is Dipti Rajesh Nair. She's a postgraduate. She had the education qualification like B.Ed as well. She decided to manage my home, and that's the only reason helped me to go all out like this. I travel a lot. Sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks going to Europe on manufacturing locations. Sometimes I'm going out to business meetings. Sometimes daytime business dinners in the evening. My life has been very, very busy. We have 2 wonderful kids. Krishna, she's an engineer in Saipan, and my son is second year MBBS in Rasakama Medical College now. So these kids are really brought up by the efforts of my wife. I have been supporting them with my minimum time available. But we have managed. We are happy to live in the same place. She supported me in going all out to support me in my challenges, especially when I left the last job during pandemic. Sometimes we are very stressful in the construction industry. When you go home, we are kind of very stressed. But, an environment created at home really de-stress you very fast. I have my own techniques like yoga, breathing exercise. As you know, I follow. I'm a volunteer of Art of Living Foundation. Then, as you said about Roger, Nadal, and Djokovic, the sports, or cricket, or I have been playing in my early days. Lately, I started to do marathons. Now I have not marathon coming next month. Again, it's for a course. So that I might I might do a few marathons every year. I hope I can do that.
Right. Well, you have your own stress busters, as they say.
Yeah.
And certainly we talked about one hero in your life, which is Dipti ma'am. But I would put it in a more technical way for the purpose of this interview, Rajesh. Who would be the hero of your life?
I have no doubt that will be my dad. My dad passed away 5-6 years ago now. He was an engineer from Indian Army, from EME. Hard work, very hard worker. Always believed that work is worship. Always believe in the human side of human relations. Always taught us by his own actions how to handle human beings, how to help the society. He has been wonderful, wonderful individual. He gave us freedom to do anything in life. We cannot ask more. And he spent his life 24 years in the Indian Army. Then he went to Dubai for 13 years while we were coming up. He spent his life for our upcoming. I cannot say anybody else. Because he is an Indian Army engineer, I'm an engineer. Of course, he has nothing of business within him. But thanks to his blessings, I'm sure he is a very happy person setting up. He's blessing us continuously. He's my hero. He has been and he will be my hero.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, I think we can very well end this interview because that's a high note to end on. And you know, you did talk about a lot of things during this interview. It was kind of a journey that we underwent in a short 30-35 minutes. But there's so much we spoke about. There's so much of learnings that we all indulged in. More importantly for me, you are a people's man, and that's what stands out for me when I look at Rajesh Nair as a person. And I wish you all the best, Rajesh, for all that you have been doing is something else, but for all that successes that have been already destined for you and your family, I wish you all the best. We all know that what we dwell on is who we become. And that is who you are today. You already dwelled on the successes of your past, and you already mentioned about the hero in your father, and that is what has kind of brought in, or the evolvement of Rajesh Nair comes from the roots that we've all listened to today. So once again, congratulations for all the achievements in your life, and I wish you nothing but success all the way through going forward, Rajesh. And all the best, and my best wishes along with my team, and have a lovely evening.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Alan. I definitely enjoyed talking to you as always. And for your audience, they can reach out to me in LinkedIn, Advanced Petrol Services. We have a page. I have a personal page with 10,000 followers in LinkedIn. Any advisors, anytime, I'll be happy to support your audience. Thanks for talking to me, and I really, really enjoyed it. Let's catch up when you are coming next time this side. We need to sit together. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and thanks to the audience who listened in so patiently today to our conversation. It's always a pleasure to be hosting an interview with leaders on the ground. Today we had Rajesh. It's been a journey for me. It's been a lot of learning when I speak to guests such as Rajesh, and I'm sure the audience also listening in have the same privilege. So thank you, listeners, and do not forget to subscribe and follow our channel as well. And as Rajesh said, do follow him on LinkedIn because if you need an advice or two, he's always there to openly suggest or comment. With that, thank you very much. And Rajesh, once again, thank you.
Thank you, Alan. All the best. All the best to you.
God bless. Thank you.
Truly a thorough gentleman, a people's person, rather a leader, a dedicated family man, and a professional at the same time to the core. Rajesh Nair stands out to be our ground zero everyday leader.